Let people see what these airplanes look like, walk through them, kind of get the sights and the smells, and take people to actually go fly in the airplane and to see what it was like during World War II.
That's Richard Langer, a volunteer pilot from Ocala, Florida. He was in the cockpit of the B-17, which carried a group of news reporters, myself included, to Shenandoah Valley Regional Airport. Langer has served as a fighter pilot in the U.S. Air Force for more than a decade. He still gets a little uncomfortable talking about his missions of dropping bombs.
I was over in, was based in Thailand, at Ubon, Thailand. I was based there for a year, and we did our job, and then we came home.
I questioned him about his mission locations.
South Vietnam, North Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Southeast Asia.
He made lifelong friendships while serving in the Air Force. Still, he says, being a fighter pilot wasn't always easy.
They're mostly good memories. Yep. A lot of friends. Yep. You know, and you get to do what you're trained to do. So it's fulfilling. It's actually, killing people is not that fun, but it's just your job, and that's what the government sent you to do.
Now Langer is a part of the Living History Museum. Our flight originated at the Stafford Regional Airport in Fredericksburg. That's where Langer was selling World War II memorabilia. It was a pretty smooth flight aboard the B-17 with a few moments of turbulence. As difficult as it was to get a steady shot, aerial views were breathtaking. One of the World War II planes flew beside us. A crowd of people greeted us when we landed. Among the crowd was a 22-year veteran, Bob Hopkins, a retired Air Force lieutenant colonel. Hopkins brought his daughter Heather and his granddaughter, 4-year-old Bella. Bella and her granddad wore their flight jackets to the World War II event.
I was a fighter pilot for 17 years and a navigator for 5 years. And I was a lieutenant colonel when I retired.
He talked to me about the types of planes he flew during his military career.
I flew the F-100 Super Sabre for about 5 years, and then I flew the F-111 that had variable wings that would sweep back and forth. Anyway, I flew the F-111 for about 12 years, and I flew the F-100 in Vietnam in 67 and 68, and I'm glad to be here still. In Vietnam, we dropped a lot of bombs, a lot of napalm, a lot of strafing, a lot of rockets. Our primary mission was close air support for the guys on the ground. In Vietnam, the F-100 was one of the first fighter planes there, and it was there until 1971. So it flew more combat missions than the other fighter planes put together, at least the Air Force fighter planes put together. The F-100 flew 360,282 missions over there.
He told me how he felt walking around with his family gazing at the war aircrafts.
I wish I was still in the military flying, because it was a great job to have. It was exciting, and I got to travel a lot, and it was fun and very fulfilling, and I was glad to serve my country that way.
His daughter, Heather, says she honors her father's military career.
I'm very proud of everything that he has done, and I am just fascinated by the aircrafts as well. Obviously, being an Air Force brat, growing up on the military bases, I just enjoy watching him fly and seeing all the airplanes, and I would always love to go in a jet myself. It would be awesome.
Paul Barnett is a Collins Foundation volunteer pilot.
So to leave our weekly day job and come out and volunteer 10 days, 2 weeks at a time to fly the aircraft around the country. I'm just a history buff and love the World War II era and the aircraft that are represented here that can give people a taste of what it was like to be a crew member on one of these aircraft.
He says the World War II planes are on tour for more than 10 months. According to Barnett, the Collins Foundation sponsors the Wings of Freedom Tour.
Collins Foundation is based in Stowe, Massachusetts. It's Rob and Bob Collins were the founders of the foundation, which are for the restoration and the preservation of military history, both on the air and on the ground. So they've got a very large armored vehicle and tank representation collection. A new museum has just been constructed and built in Stowe, Massachusetts.
He explained how rare one of the World War II planes has become.
The Witchcraft, this is the only flying B-24 in the world. So it's the only one that remains that's in flight as a bomber, as a B-24 bomber. So it's very unique.
In Weir's Cave, Elaine Rackley for Breaking Through News.